What's up guys, T-Mart here, and today I've got some more Rainbow Six news for you guys. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about in terms of operator buffs and nerfs and changes to the recoil and stuff like that that should be coming to the game soon. Now, I've done a couple of Rainbow Six news videos in the past, and you guys seem to enjoy them. So if you guys do enjoy them, you want to see more, drop a like on the video. I appreciate your support, and let's get into it. Basically, what's going on is next month we are going to be getting the mid-season reinforcement update, which is going to have significant changes to the game, just not like big new things added in. So we're not going to be getting any new operators, we're not going to be getting any new maps or anything like that like we just had with the Blood Orchid DLC, but it's going to be other significant stuff like buffs and nerfs to different operators and weapons, and changes to equipment and attachments and stuff like that. Now, obviously, Ubisoft wants to test this stuff out and make sure it works before they end up putting it in the game. So the other day, the technical test server was updated with a few new changes. And this technical test server is currently only available on PC. I don't think they've ever had one available for consoles, although I think it's been talked about before. But basically, if you signed up back in the day and you were chosen to participate in the tech test servers, you can go on, you can load into these certain servers that have these changes live and kind of see what's going on. And judging off of a lot of posts on Reddit and stuff like that, we've got a pretty good idea of some of the changes that are coming to the game, and that's what I wanted to run through with you guys here in today's video. So first up, let's talk about the operators. This is where we're going to see the biggest change to the game, and the first one I want to talk about is good old Kapkan. So Kapkan got both a buff and a nerf at the same time, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about this because I think it's going to be a little bit controversial. So in terms of his buff, first thing is that he's moved to a 2-speed, 2-armor operator, which I think is really exciting. I actually like running Kapkan. I think he's fun. I think his ability can be pretty good, and I really like his 9x19 SMG. The only problem I have with him is how slow he is, so I feel like that's going to kind of fix that issue. He's going to be a 2-speed, 2-armor. You're going to be able to move around a little bit quicker, flank around enemies, that sort of thing. So I think that's a definite improvement for our boy Kapkan. Now, he also has another buff. He's now going to have 5 of his traps, 5 of those entry denial devices. So, I mean, obviously that's pretty exciting. You can now lock down 5 windows and 5 doorways with him. And these 5 traps no longer have a laser. There's no more red laser. So when you place them on the window, you'll see a red laser for a second and then it disappears and goes completely invisible. Now, obviously with doorways, you can kind of cheat around the edges and kind of look and see if they're along the wall. But for a window, you can't really do that as well. So especially like, you know, with this invisible laser thing, windows are going to become especially good when defending with Kapkan, which is a really good thing. So, wow, those are 3 huge buffs for Kapkan right off the bat. How bad could this nerf really be? The entry denial devices are no longer lethal. They're no longer a one-hit kill. They now only do 40 damage. And that just, man, like when I was reading up on the buffs, I was really excited, but that killed it for me, dude. Having a one-hit kill trap is what made Kapkan Kapkan. When you think about some of the other trap characters, you know, think about Frost. No, those don't kill right away, but welcome mats will put somebody in a down state and pretty much take them out of the map. And if you know where it went off, it's easy to go get that kill. So Frost already is much more powerful. Think about Ela. Yeah, I realize that those don't really do too much damage, but you can, you know, you have the ability to put them anywhere. You can put them up on ceilings, you can put them down the floor, you can put them around corners, stuff like that. You can put them in places where you can't put Kapkan traps. So I feel like she's a little bit more powerful in that regard. And then finally, think about Legion. Yes, I know Legion's little goo mines, they only do 10 points of damage right away, and then I think they do like 7 or 8 points of damage every couple of seconds afterwards. So the damage isn't quite up to that 40 damage that Kapkan would be doing. But again, just like Ella, you can put them pretty much anywhere as long as it's on the floor. You can't put them on walls, but you can put them all over the place. And you can actually see where they're at on your HUD, so you can see when one goes off, you know exactly what happened, whereas with Kapkan, you don't have that. So, you know, out of the 4 trap characters, I feel like Kapkan just got put down at the bottom of the list, because if he's not lethal, I don't really see the reason to use him. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's... I don't think it's a good move. I really don't. I think it makes it more annoying for the offenders, for the people trying to break into the objective, because now you have even more stuff to look out for. We already have welcome mats and Ella mines and freaking, you know, everything else going on, and now we're gonna have 5 Kapkans to watch out for. That's insane. And not only is it more annoying for the offense, it's also a little bit less useful for the defense because you're not actually taking people out when somebody does run into it. So, I don't know. It's an interesting change. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Personally, as of right now, although I haven't played with it, just off of you know, thinking about it and thinking about gameplay-wise, I don't think that's a very good move. Next up, we're going to be talking about Blitz. And if you guys like to run shields, I regret to inform you that this is going to be really, really good news for you. Blitz has a pure buff across the board. So the first thing is Blitz can now sprint with his shield up. He can sprint while covered, which is kind of exciting. So now he can kind of put his shield out, he can sprint along, and he's all covered up. He's not dropping his shield, leaving himself super vulnerable, which is nice. He also, in this animation, you guys may notice, he pulls the pistol inside the shield, so his pistol arm isn't even out either. So he's fully covered from head down to like his shin and foot area, which is really, really nice. So Blitz is going to be much more useful in that regard. And, you know, even when you're sprinting, you can actually still use your flash animation, your flash ability. It's just that's going to take you out of your sprint. But still, you can come sprinting around a corner, see somebody, take them by surprise, flash them, drop your shield, bop, bop. That's that. So Blitz definitely got a big bonus there, a big buff there. And on top of that, he also had a buff to his hitbox. So one of the easiest places to hit Blitz when you're on the other team is to shoot him in the head, because he's got this huge head with the giant earphones that bulge out and stuff like that. Now his hitbox is not going to include his earphones. So if you shoot him in his headset or his earphones, it's not going to count as a hit marker. You've got to actually hit him in his physical head, which is a good thing. So across the board there, Blitz, you're looking pretty good. Now, the last operator I saw people talking about on Reddit was Tachanka, and unfortunately, the Lord got a nerf. You can no longer aim down sight when you're on the turrets. So I don't know why they would take that away from you. It doesn't really make sense to me. If anything, I feel like Tachanka could use a little bit of a buff, but they took away his ADS while on the turret. So that's kind of sad. Press F to pay respects. So that's what we've got for the operators. Now, unfortunately, I don't have access to the test servers, so I can't show you guys a bunch of gameplay. The gameplay you guys have seen so far, I've taken from the different posts on Reddit and stuff like that. So I'm going to link the Rainbow Six subreddit down in the description if you guys want to check it out. But that's what we've got for operators. The next really big change that we've got coming to Rainbow Six Siege, at least according to this test server, is to the Recoil. So it looks like they're going to be taking kind of a page out of Counter-Strike's book, and that they're going to be making the recoil patterns more static and more predictable rather than pretty much 100% random as they are right now. And this is going to be a huge discussion in this community because there are good things and there are bad things when you include this. So when you're talking about giving static recoil plots and having it do the same thing pretty much over and over and over, that's a good thing because it does introduce somewhat of a skill ceiling there. Like it raises the skill ceiling a little bit, especially on PC. On console, it's a little bit tougher to be able to control this. But, you know, think about on PC, if you know exactly which way your gun is going to be moving, you can move the opposite way with your mouse really, really accurately. And if you combat that perfectly, it's going to give you no recoil. You know what I mean? So if you're constantly pulling down and left and right and completely counteracting what your weapon is doing, it's going to keep your aim dead center. And that's what people do with Counter-Strike. That's why you see people like pull down with their AKs and stuff like that in Counter-Strike, because it keeps all the bullets going straight towards the center of the screen. So it definitely does add somewhat of a skill aspect to it, and it takes away a little bit from the randomness, which, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen. Sometimes you get that randomness where somebody randomly snaps on their recoil and it gets a headshot and you get taken out. Stuff like that is going to be reduced a little bit, which is definitely a good thing. However, honestly, I personally see it as more of a bad thing than anything else, and I haven't played with it yet, so I'm trying not to judge it yet, but I definitely see some bad things coming out of this. So, number one is this really, really forces you to learn a couple of weapons, get comfortable with those weapons, and then not branch out as much. And I feel like Rainbow Six is all about using different operators and different weapons and different strategies and stuff like that. And it's a lot more than just a first-person shooter. It's really like you use a lot of strategy and you use your mind a lot. And I feel like when you're making people get comfortable with one weapon and therefore one operator, they're only going to use that operator, and it just kind of takes away from the entire thing that is Rainbow Six. It makes the shooting aspect a little bit better, but it takes away from the entire package that is Rainbow. And I feel like that is going to be somewhat of a bad thing. Now, the other bad thing I see with this is scripters, cheaters online. Like, it's really, really easy to put into your mouse to do certain movements at certain times. And if it, like, you know, say your weapon, your MP5 is shooting, like it goes left 4 and then down 3 and then up 4 and like stuff like that, you can do the opposites into your mouse and automatically have your mouse do that stuff, whereas you don't even have to move your mouse. So we don't really have to worry about this on console, but for PC, scripters will have a field day with this. Really, I don't see why they would be trying to fix something that's not broken. I don't think I've ever seen anybody. Really, my biggest thing is I don't see the point in fixing something that's not broken. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I ever see any complaints. Like, occasionally there's the off chance that there's like a weird random headshot through a wall and stuff like that based off of recoil. But I don't really see people complaining about how the recoil currently works in the game. So if nobody's upset with it, why are we completely changing it and ditching the old way and implementing this entirely new system? I don't know. It could be for the good. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, I have not been on the test servers myself, so I can't judge this too hard. I'm just trying to give you guys an objective approach from, you know, the facts of what's going to come with this change. So it should be interesting. You guys can see here they said that, you know, there are going to be different groups of weapons that have kind of the same recoil patterns, and those are those groups right here. So they're going to be slightly different just to keep every weapon somewhat unique, but each of these groups are going to have basically the same recoil pattern. And some of these patterns are going to be like waterfalls, some are going to be like seas, some are going to be lightning bolts. I don't know what's going on, man. It seems really, really weird to me, but we've got to hope that Ubisoft knows what they're doing. I imagine that they do. And I trust in the changes that they're making. It's just, it may be a little bit weird at first. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So those are the big changes coming to Rainbow Six based off this test server. Now, it is worth noting that it's a test server for a reason. Some people may not like this stuff, and Ubisoft may decide to scrap it. Some people may really love it, and they're gonna, you know, encourage them to put it in. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But these are some of the changes that you could potentially expect to come to the game next month with the mid-season reinforcements update. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna catch you guys later. More Rainbow Six coming soon. We're gonna be back with Ranked tomorrow, and I'll see you guys there. Peace out.